Here are all the ways to maximise your health in Dark Souls, and I guarantee that there's a whole host of them that you didn't even know about. In the world of Dark Souls, even though death is a lesson you will need to learn, maximising your health and surviving is equally as important. In this video, I will cover all the ways to maximise your health, whether that be from upgrading and increasing your Estus Flask uses, equipping rings, using consumables, and even wielding certain weapons and shields. This video will be your ultimate guide. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell to make sure you don't miss out on even more Souls content. First up, the most important item in your inventory for healing is your Estus Flask. This is a refillable consumable that when used will restore a portion of your HP. The Estus Flask is obtained at the start of the game in the Northern Undead Asylum when you speak to, or kill, Oscar of Astora. Initially you will only have 5 Estus Flask uses, but this will then be replenished every time you rest at a bonfire. The number of Estus Flask uses can be increased by 10 by kindling individual bonfires, so make sure you choose wisely which bonfires you want to upgrade. To do this, you will need to spend 1 humanity point by sitting down and kindling the bonfire. It is worth noting that you can only kindle a bonfire in human form, so if you are hollowed, you will need to spend an additional humanity point to reverse the hollowing. Any bonfire with a firekeeper present is already kindled by default. In total, there are 3 bonfires with a firekeeper. These bonfires are located at Firelink Shrine, Londo, and Quaelag's Domain. It is possible to kindle a bonfire further so that you can get 15 and then 20 Estus Flask uses. But in order to do this, you will need to acquire the Rite of Kindling. This is an item you will receive after you have defeated the Catacomb boss Pinwheel. In addition to the amount of Estus Flask uses you have, you can also upgrade your Estus Flask. This will increase the amount of HP restored with each use. To upgrade your Estus Flask, you will need to give a Firekeeper soul to one of the 3 Firekeepers. They are Anastacia of Astora, the mute girl below Firelink Shrine, the Darkmoon Knightess leaning against the wall in Londo, and Quaelag's sister, the Fair Lady, who resides in Quaelag's Domain, in a secret chamber beneath the second Bell of Awakening. By default, your Estus Flask will heal 300 HP. Then each time it is upgraded, it will increase to 400 HP when upgraded to +1, 500 HP at +2, 600 HP at +3, 650 HP at +4, 700 HP at +5, 750 HP at +6, and then 800 HP at +7. On your first playthrough, there are a maximum of 7 obtainable Firekeeper souls. However, as 3 of those Firekeeper souls are obtained by the death of each Firekeeper, you may only upgrade your Estus Flask to +6 on your first playthrough. As once all the Firekeepers are dead, you won't have any Firekeepers left to give the final Firekeeper soul to. Only on an NG Plus will you be able to fully upgrade your Estus Flask to +7 with the final Firekeeper soul. It is possible to consume a Firekeeper soul, and while this may be tempting to do in order to obtain 5 humanities and to restore your health, this is only a temporary benefit to you, whereas upgrading your Estus Flask is a permanent benefit and highly recommended. It is also worth noting that only 1 of each Firekeeper soul can be carried at a time, so if you decide to do an NG Plus playthrough, you will need to utilise the bottomless box to store multiple of the same, giving you the ability to carry a maximum of 14 Firekeeper souls. As mentioned before, there are a total of 7 Firekeeper souls that can be obtained during each playthrough of Dark Souls, and here is where you can find them. The first Firekeeper soul you are likely to encounter is located in the Undead Parish. It is on the altar in the Undead Church, guided by a Berenike Knight. Once you have obtained it, make a beeline for the lift and head back to Firelink Shrine. Then follow the stairs down to the Firekeeper Anastacia, and you can upgrade your Estus Flask. It is worth noting that Anastacia is linked to a side quest with Knight Lautrec of Karim, which I will go through in further detail later on in the video. The next Firekeeper soul is located in New Londo Ruins. It can be seen to your right when crossing the narrow wooden walkway. To reach this spot, head over the walkway and then work your way through the ruined buildings, and then turn right at the end. Several ghosts will spawn when getting near, so double back once they've spawned to herd them away, and then the path is clear to collect it. The third Firekeeper soul is located in Blighttown, in the wastewater pit about halfway down from the Valley of the Drake's entrance. Head along the top path and then drop down to this section. It is guarded by fire dogs and toxic dark shooters, so be careful. The Firekeeper soul is then located behind the metal bars at the end of the passage. The fourth Firekeeper soul is located in the Duke's Archives, at the bottom of the prison tower, behind the gate in the room with all the Pisarca. You will however need the Archive Tower giant cell key to open this gate. This can be found in a chest in the cluttered library just before the exit to the Crystal Caves in the Duke's Archives. The next 3 Firekeeper souls can only be obtained by killing the Firekeepers, but please note that once a Firekeeper is killed, their respective bonfire can no longer be used, but they can still be warped to using the Lord Vessel. The first of these Firekeepers is Quaelag's sister, the Fair Lady. who is located in the hidden area beneath the second Bell of Awakening in Quelaag's domain, behind this illusory wall. The next Firekeeper to perish for a Firekeeper soul is the Darkmoon Knightess in Londo. If you choose to attack either Dark Sun Gwyndolin or Guinevere, Princess of Sunlight, then this will cause the Darkmoon Knightess to aggro with you anyway, so don't feel too bad about taking her out. And finally, the last Firekeeper soul you can obtain is from Anastacia of Astora, the mute Firekeeper beneath Firelink Shrine. Her Firekeeper soul can only be obtained by allowing Knight Lautrec of Carim to murder her. This will happen once you have either rung both Bells of Awakening or taken both of the Firekeeper souls from the Undead Parish and Blighttown, whichever occurs first. It is worth noting that this happens regardless of whether you free Lautrec from his cell in the Undead Church. And while it may be tempting to kill Lautrec while he is still in Firelink Shrine in order to obtain the Ring of Favour and Protection, this will then prevent you from being able to obtain the final Firekeeper soul during this playthrough. Once Lautrec has killed Anastacia, he will disappear and you can return to Anastacia's cave in Firelink Shrine and you will find the Black Eye Orb. Later on in the game, when you reach Londo, in the main chamber prior to the Ornstein and Smell boss fight, you will receive an on-screen prompt saying, "You feel the Black Eye Orb quivering." If you then use the Black Eye Orb in this room, you will invade Knight Lautrec's world, where you'll do battle with him and 2 of his cronies. Once you have defeated Lautrec, you will receive 5 humanity, the Ring of Favour and Protection, a Souvenir of Reprisal, and most importantly, Anastacia's Firekeeper soul. Additionally, once killed, his armour set can be found on a balcony overlooking the Ornstein and Smell boss arena. But now you have a choice. You can either return to Firelink Shrine and visit Anastacia's cave to return her soul, which will resurrect her and re-enable the bonfire at Firelink, or you can keep it and use her soul to upgrade your Estus Flask. The choice is yours. But remember, it is only Anastacia's soul that you can obtain from Lautrec that can then be used to resurrect her. None of the other Firekeeper souls can be used for this function. In addition to the Estus Flask, there are many other items in the game designed to help you boost and restore your health, from rings, consumables, miracles, and even weapons. First off is the Tiny Beings ring. This ring will increase your maximum HP by 5%, and can be obtained from the very start of the game if you choose it as your starter gift. It can also be obtained from Sigmir of Katarina in Londo, after you have cleared the room next to him of all the Silver Knights. Next, the Ring of Favour and Protection is one of the better rings in Dark Souls, as it will boost your HP, stamina, and equipment load by 20% each. However, the ring permanently breaks if you ever unequip it. As mentioned previously, this ring can be obtained by killing Knight Lautrec of Carim. You can choose to do this at either Firelink Shrine by easily kicking him off the ledge where he sits, or by invading his world in Londo. It completely depends on how soon you want the ring. But remember, if you kill Lautrec in Firelink Shrine, you will lose the ability to obtain Anastacia's Firekeeper soul. If you do choose to kill Lautrec in Firelink Shrine, you will need to reload the area before the ring will then appear on the floor where he was sat. An additional way you can obtain the Ring of Favour and Protection is to trade the Xanthus Crown to Snuggly the Crow. Finally, the Ring of the Evil Eye, while useful, is not as strong as the other 2 rings previously mentioned, as this ring only allows you to absorb 30 HP from every fallen enemy. This does not stack on multiple kills, so if you get a double kill, you will still only get 30 HP from it. The ring can be obtained from the depths in the area with all the basilisks. The Divine Blessing is a consumable item that will fully restore your HP, and also remove the buildup of negative status effects such as bleed, poison, and toxic. They can be obtained either as a starter gift, from looting, or purchased from various merchants throughout the game. Consuming a Humanity or Twin Humanity will also fully restore your HP. They can be acquired by defeating most bosses, killing certain characters and enemies, and also from looting corpses around the lands of Lordran. The Elizabeth's Mushroom is the final healing consumable, and will restore a large amount of health over 30 seconds. It can only be found in the Artorias of the Abyss DLC. A grand total of 4 Elizabeth Mushrooms can be acquired per playthrough. 1 from a corpse in the Royal Wood, and then 3 can be obtained from Elizabeth after either defeating Manus, Father of the Abyss, or by killing her. Bountiful Sunlight is a healing miracle that requires membership of the Princess's Guard Covenant to use, and will regenerate 10 HP per second to the user and nearby allies for a minute, granting a total of 600 HP per use. It can be obtained from one of the 2 docile Pasarkas that cry in a corner outside of Logan's cell, in the prison section of the Duke's Archives. Heal is a miracle that will recover an amount of HP that is 3 times the magic adjustment of the equipped talisman. It is available from the start if you choose the Cleric class, and can also be purchased from Petrus of Thorolund in Firelink Shrine, Rhea of Thorolund in the Undead Church, or by Patches who relocates to Firelink Shrine after you have defeated Gravelord Nito. Similarly to Heal, Great Heal is a miracle that will recover a large amount of HP, 8 times the magic adjustment of the equipped talisman. It can only be purchased from Rhea of Thorolund in the Undead Church after she has been rescued. Just like Great Heal Exert also heals 8 times the magical adjustment of the equipped talisman, but it has a lower faith stat requirement than Great Heal. This can be purchased from Petrus of Thorland in Firelink Shrine, Raya of Thorland in the Undead Church, or by Patches, who again relocates to Firelink Shrine after you have defeated Gravelord Nito. Just like Bountiful Sunlight, the replenishment miracle will regenerate 10 HP per second for a minute, granting a total of 600 HP per use. This miracle cannot be purchased, and will only be given to you by Raya of Thorland after you have freed her followers Vince and Nico from their Tormentor's Hollows in the Tomb of the Giants. Soothing Sunlight can only be used if you are a member of the Princess's Guard Covenant, and when used, it will restore HP for 6 times the magic adjustment stat, and this also heals any friendly phantoms, NPC summons, and also enemies affected by undead rapport. This miracle is dropped from a docile Pasaka guarding Logan's prison in the Duke's archives. In Dark Souls, there are even several weapons that will aid your health management. The Butcher's Knife restores 5 HP per hit and can be obtained by defeating Man-Eater Mildred in Blighttown. The Sanctus Shield regenerates your health at 2 HP every 2 seconds and can be obtained by defeating Paladin Leroy just prior to Nito's boss area after the Tomb of the Giants. The Server absorbs 7 HP per hit and can be obtained in the Leech's Nest in the Poison Swamp at the bottom of Blighttown. And Smal's Hammer will restore 10 HP per hit and can be obtained by forging any hammer or great hammer to +10 and then ascending it with the Soul of Smal at the Giant Blacksmith. So while these numbers seem fairly small, every little helps. And that's it! My Magnum Estus is finally complete, and you can now all traverse Lordran knowing every possible way of boosting up that HP. As always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Souls content.